Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Bailey. As you know, this is me, right? I'm just on your computer instead of in my comfy chair in our classroom. I miss you so much, but I wanted to share a really good story with you today. And this is a book that I would have read you on Monday during reading time. So this is perfect. The title of the story is Oscar and the Frog, and it's a book about growing. Now, the really cool thing about this book is it looks like this is going to be a fiction story about a cat named Oscar and a little frog, but actually it's an informational text. And some of you might remember that informational texts tell us a lot of good information about a certain subject. And today you're going to learn about this guy right here. You might know a little bit already about the life cycle of a frog, or you might not. So hopefully you'll learn something, right? That's what's important. So the title is Oscar and the Frog, and it's a book about growing. Now, right down here you can see the name Geoff Waring. I wonder is he the author? What does the author do? You know, there's only one name here, so that means he's probably the illustrator too. I want you to talk to your mom and dad about what does an author do and what does an illustrator do, and this guy right here, he did both. Pretty cool. All right, let's get started. Oscar and the Frog. One spring day by the pond, Oscar saw some creatures he had not seen before. Frog hopped up. "They're tadpoles," Frog said. I was a tadpole before I grew up." Oscar stared at the frog. He didn't look like a tadpole at all. "Don't be silly, Frog," Oscar said, laughing. All right, I want you to think, what kind of an animal is Oscar? Right here. And what creature does Oscar see down here that he's never seen before? And then when he's talking to the frog, why do you think why do you think he goes, Hey, don't be silly, Frog. You can't possibly have started out like that. Do you think he has never seen a tadpole before? Have you seen a tadpole before? I have. The frogs like to lay their eggs in my pool cover before I get it off in the spring, and then we have tadpoles floating around in our pool that we have to rescue and take to a pond. So I have seen them before. Let's see what we can find out about these guys. "It's true," Frog said, and he told Oscar how frogs grow. "At first, I looked like a dot in an egg. The egg was as soft as jelly." So right here are the little eggs. Can you see them? Okay. "Then I grew in the egg and then hatched out a wiggly tadpole." All right, check it out. So tadpole, they start as an egg and then they are a tadpole. Now let's take a look at the next one. It says, "I could breathe underwater through gills just like a fish." So think about fish and how they have those gills. "I was hungry for pondweed and it helped me to grow." So take a look at this one right here because you're going to need these later. I'm going to give you a little bit of an assignment. All right. "Later, my gills disappeared as I grew lungs. I grew lungs to breathe air. I also grew back legs." Take a look at those back legs starting to grow. So we have egg, tadpole that likes to eat the pondweed. Then they get lungs and they start to grow legs. "Then my front legs and my tail started to shrink." So their little tail starts to shrink and they start to get front legs. "After 3 months, I was a little frog, and I kicked my new legs and jumped out of the water to live on the bank." All right, try to remember these drawings. You're going to need these for your assignment. You'll be able to go back and check them out. "What else hatches out of an egg?" Oscar asked. They looked in the pond. Frog showed Oscar some eggs that had been laid underwater. Check this out, you guys. "Many water snails lay their eggs in pouches of jelly on the stones of plants." A little glare there. You see it? "Dragonflies often lay their eggs on a plant stem just below the water." So check that one out. I'm going to close this shade. Right there. See those little eggs that the dragonfly is laying? "Fish lay lots of eggs. The perch winds hers in a long thread around plants, twigs, or stones." So there's the perch, and do you see that white thread almost looks like toilet paper, you know when people toilet paper the trees? But check it out. They lay it right in the weeds, right there. All those little eggs. They looked down the bank, and Frog showed Oscar some eggs that had been laid where it's dry. So those were water eggs. Now these are land. These are laid on the land. Many kinds of butterflies lay their eggs on the undersides of leaves. When the caterpillars hatch out of the eggs, they eat the leaves. Do you see them there? Right on the leaf. Many birds lay their eggs in nests high off the ground. Here, the chick will be safe from animals who might want to eat them when they hatch. Ducks often nest on the ground close to water so their ducklings will be able to swim quickly away from danger. So if you look here, see the bird in the nest? Some of you might start to notice the fat robins in our yards. We have a lot of robins that hang out around here, and they love our trees that are in front of our house, and they have been starting to build their nests, we've been noticing. And there's the duck. All right. Do plants hatch out of eggs? Oscar asked. What do you guys think? Do plants hatch out of eggs? No, said Frog. Most plants sprout from seeds. Each plant makes its own kind of a seed. The seeds of an apple trees are stored inside their fruit. We know all about this, don't we? Strawberry plants have small seeds on the outsides of their fruit. Check it out. See those little seeds there? You guys know what that is, huh? You've seen that before. Poppy plants have tiny seeds. They are light enough to be carried away by the wind. So when the wind blows, it blows their seeds. Coconuts are the seeds of coconut palm trees. They are huge and can float. What are these up here? Do you guys know? What does that remind you of? Most seeds ripen above the ground, but the seeds of the peanut plant grow in the earth. Every year I read this story and someone says, peanuts, I know what those are. You eat them at the Brewer games. Or what's that restaurant? Texas Roadhouse, right? You can eat peanuts there. He's a pretty smart little frog. He knows lots of stuff. Oh, now look at this, all you kitty lovers. Did I hatch out of an egg or did I sprout from a seed? Oscar asked. What do you guys think? Did he hatch out of an egg or sprout from a seed? Neither, said Frog. You were born. You looked a lot like you do now, only much smaller. With fur and paws, ears and a tail, you were hungry for milk from your mother. Look how cute. Why was I hungry for milk? Oscar asked. It helped you to grow, said Frog. Milk for you, pondweed for me. Leaves for those caterpillars, and bugs for those baby birds. We all need different food to grow. See the caterpillars munching on the leaves? And those little baby birds getting their little bugs and their worms. Oscar stretched. I'm so big now, he told Frog. But you're not as big as you will be, said Frog. Are you? Asked Oscar. Yes, Frog answered. I've stopped growing now. I'm as big as I'm going to get. Do you notice anything right here? How long does it take to grow up? Oscar asked. It depends, said Frog. This flower will be full grown in a few days. You see this little flower here? It looks like a dandelion. But this young tree won't be tall until you are a very old little seedling there. So this flower only takes a couple days to grow up. But check out the seedling of that plant there. Looks like an oak tree. Many years it'll take for that to become a big tree. Ooh, check out the baby birds. The baby birds will be as big as their parents next spring. Frog went on, but the tadpoles will take 3 springs or more to be as big as I am. Each living thing takes its own time. Just like you guys. You're all growing up. Next time I see you, you're going to be so tall. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to recognize you. Just then, Oscar saw that his mother was coming. What about me? He asked Frog. How long will I stay a kitten? You'll be a full-grown cat by winter, Frog said, as big as your mother is now. Oscar looked at his mother. She was much bigger than he was. Don't be silly, Frog, he said, laughing. It's true, Frog said. You just wait and see. Kittens grow fast, don't they? And so do puppies. So that was the end of the story. And now they have a little section in the back of this book that's called Thinking About Growing. And it says, by the pond, Oscar found out about these things. And it goes through all the different things that he found out about. The beginnings. Living things begin in different ways. So it talked about some start out as eggs, some are seeds, and some are just born like baby kitties. It says, how did you begin? On your next walk, I want you to look for living things that hatch, sprout, or are born alive. Think about that. When you take a walk outside, we walk every day at our house, and we love to go hiking, and we have seen lots of different things, lots of little plants sprouting. We did see a nest, but I can't remember if there were any eggs in it. I don't think there were any eggs in it yet. And actually, we have planted some seeds at our house to get ready for our new garden that Mr. Bailey built me. He's been busy. Food. All living things have to eat to grow. They need different kinds of food. Pondweed was what the tadpoles ate. Leaves were the caterpillars. And remember, the birds ate the bugs. What helped you to grow when you were very young? What do you eat that helps you grow now? I want you to ask your moms, what did you eat when you were a baby? You might not actually know that, and you might not remember that either. So ask, and then find out, you started out as a baby drinking milk, but then what did you eat next? Did your mom just give you a steak and potatoes? I don't think she did. So you got to find out what you ate as you were growing, and then start to think about what your favorite things are now. Now this little section here says getting bigger. Living things grow at different speeds. Plants can take just a few days, birds a few months, frogs a few years, and many years for a tree. How long did it take you to grow? As big as your mother or as your father? How long is it going to take you to get as tall as your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa? Some of you have really tall grandpas. I've met them before. Oscar thinks growing is great. What do you think about growing? So I want you to take a little think time with your parents and talk about you growing up and how you've changed. Some of you just turned 6. Some of you are almost going to be 6. So you've had 6 years of growing. You're going to be really, I'm telling you, by the time I see you in May or in June, you're going to be really tall. I bet you've already grown about an inch. My kids are growing really fast, it seems, now they're at home, and they're eating lots of good snacks, too, while they're here. So eat that healthy food. And I have a little bit of an assignment for you if you think you can handle it. Now, some of you, I gave you a journal page. So if you would like, you could do this in your journal, or just get a piece of paper. You've got copy paper, construction paper, I don't care what you do it on. And I want you to draw a life cycle of a frog. I'm going to show you an example, but I'm also going to show you a couple different ways you can do it. And this might be a little bit backwards for you. I'm not sure what it's going to look like because I've never actually videotaped myself before. This is going to be our life cycle of a frog. Now you can do a 5-box job if you just want to do 5 boxes, or you can start in the center and do your life cycle all the way around. Now in the book, I told you that the frog starts out as an egg. So you could draw your egg, and remember it was like a little ball in the center, like he said, it was kind of like jelly. And then, and you guys can go back and look at what I read, or what that page that I showed you where I said you might want to remember this. Then you can draw the little tadpole, and if you want, you can write egg. And down here you could write tadpole. And then the next step would be the tadpole. What did it say? It says he could breathe underwater because he had gills like a fish. And so you could draw your little tadpole and his little tail, and he got those gills right on the side. Okay? So you could write that he got gills. And then your next little tadpole is going to get legs. What did he get first? His back legs? Let's see. He grew those big, strong back legs first. You can give him a little eyeball, too. And he had those gills. Don't forget those gills. And you do your drawing however you want to do it. And then, what happened? He got his front legs, and his tail disappeared. Ooh, I wonder if I needed another box on here. Maybe I did. Uh-oh. Let's back it up here a little bit. Let's do he got his gills and his back legs. And then let's do that he got his front legs, and his tail starts to shrink. So I'm going to take his tail away and give him his front legs. However you guys want to do this is fine. And his back legs, okay? And then up here I want you to draw a frog. Now remember, we're not all fabulous artists, but we just do the best that we can, right? Let's see here. I'm not so sure if this is going to turn out very well.